We are live, Mr. Gassert. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great on
I
this.
like that background you got going, man. It looks like you're in a dome or something.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's geometrically induced. I'm doing great. It's a magnificent Monday here in Peachtree Corners, and guess what's getting ready to happen here? Something really exciting. We're getting ready to get these baseball playoffs are getting ready to take place. So yeah, Atlanta is in the playoffs, and right now I think it's either tomorrow. I don't know. It might even be tonight. I've been keeping up with it that much, but playoffs are starting. You've got wild cards, you've got in between cards, and you've got people that won their divisions, and so it'll be some cool stuff. And in fact, I did some baseball this weekend.
Yeah, we got some Brewer mania going on here in Milwaukee.
Really?
So we're playing Arizona tomorrow night.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
So
Yeah. Hey.
playing the wild card. They won their division of playing the low seat wild card. So
Good.
we got some bad news though. Burns is out for the rest of the season with the bad arm.
Good. Yeah, that's
our number one starter. So he's out. So good thing to have depth in the pitching. So
yeah, that's a good.
But I
thing.
like, nothing against the Brewers, but I like Atlanta's chances.
Well, I hope so, Tom. It's the pitching, and when I say the pitching, it's not so much the starters, it's that middle relief. They got to come through and obviously see the ball, hit the ball, be the ball, all that fun stuff. If they just continue that pattern, I know they can put runs on the board, but from a pitching perspective, we got to be able to hone it down. And I always like this time of year because, forgive me, all of you that pitch in the major leagues, you get rid of what I call the ham and egg pitchers. Now you're facing the A-listers, and that makes it really interesting. Primo pitching versus, that primo hitting. It's always fun to watch.
Yeah. It is favorite time of the year for me as well. I don't watch baseball until the playoffs, but
because they really go at it.
Yeah, Milwaukee, Wisconsinites love their sports, whether it be Packers, whether it be the Badgers, or whether it be Milwaukee. So this is a state that loves their athletic team. So
absolutely, man.
People are wearing their Brewer outfits and Yelich T-shirts and all that stuff. So big time starts tomorrow night with the Brewers playing Arizona Diamondbacks. So.
Well, what I like about that, what you just said is you brought up Milwaukee. So there's a kindred spirit with Atlanta. So that's where they came from to come here. So I know they probably hated to see the Braves go, but back in the day, Mr. Aaron and company, they all came here to hot Atlanta, and the rest is history. Fulton County Stadium is no more. Turner Stadium is no more. Now it's Truist. You notice how they name all these stadiums after banks or financial institutions or insurance
companies.
Yeah, it's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, American Family Insurance Field is where the Brewers. But it used to be Miller Park, which is more. Yes. I think it was more conducive to Milwaukee.
Right.
Brewing culture. We have the beer culture here in Wisconsin.
See, and I kind of miss that. Do they still have the old Brewer thing where you go on the slide down there? The mascot?
I don't know what his name is, but if they hit a home run, he still slides down.
Neat. Yeah. And I kind of feel bad because, I know I don't know if he's not around, but we used to have, I'm going back to Fulton County days where he would sit in a teepee, and then if you hit a home run, he'd dance around the teepee, Chief Nakahoma. But we don't have him anymore. It would be kind of cool to see him bring something back like that, but I don't know in this era of political correctness if that's appropriate or not, but I like the word brave. I think it signifies a lot. It's kind of cool. But I know people think we're obnoxious with that chop. I get it.
Well, my friend, elevate your profits. That we're here tonight. We're going to be
talking. Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about what we're doing tonight?
Yeah. Why do we have elevate your profits? Which, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going on year 3. Is that right? Or
year 3?
Yes. When this started out, it was about businesses and people that are either solopreneur, entrepreneur, and developing, and we learn from you on how you're developing your business, what you're doing out there, what your mindset is. We're going to talk about that, really get into it tonight, and you know how you become successful in a business, those that want to have their own business. And then for people like me, I know we're the cowards. Then there's other things like maybe affiliate marketing or network marketing, or other different platforms and programs you can do. This platform right here, Be Connected, there's a way to make revenue from that. You want to be a coach. I've seen some of your posts. I put some things out there as to what this offers, and kind of cool. And people are out there doing it with this. And then we've had in the past, Tom, I've often said this, people that have written books, they're authored. I always, and I'd be totally remiss if I didn't mention Ben Gay. We've had a legend in the sales industry, as well as a disciple of, we're going to talk a little bit about, but this book, Napoleon Hill, which is kind of cool. And, and then we've had other people in the insurance industry, healthcare, wellness. We've had people from the ASEA side of things talking to us about, why people use the product, what it's doing for them. And these are all good things. And there's a lot of opportunities out there. And all I'm going to say is, I think this is a platform like anybody else's show. And I don't get to see everybody's show out there because you can't. There's so many hours in the day. But all I'm going to say is this: there are so many opportunities out there today as compared to, and I'm going to go to the dark ages of, say, like a 2008. It's just amazing what you can do on a virtual level if you can't physically be there. And that's what's kind of cool. Although I think people are gravitating for more face-to-face, engagement, which I am wholeheartedly into. It's fun when you meet people in the flesh. But that's what we're all about. And, anybody out there that has a cause, let us know. Let Tom know. Let myself know. A business you want to promote, we're here for you, man. Because it's all about learning from you. It's not about us. It's about, us learning from what you're doing out there, and you sharing that information with everyone else.
Yeah. Well, Mark, great job. Before I get into rolling us out here on our topic here, what are you grateful for today?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm glad to be here, but significantly just kind of grateful that, trying to become a better husband, and I'm grateful I have the wife I have. I'm grateful I have the health I have. Grateful I have the kids I have, because I know the flip side of that, and I know some people that, their kids have been through rehab, and it's kind of a scary thing. Here I am talking about something negative, but I'm just grateful I didn't have to go through that. Knock on wood, I haven't yet. And there's all sorts of challenges out there, Tom, and I think it's a matter of how you deal with it. And I think our generation and beyond, maybe my dad was from that greatest generation and he was tough on us, but now I understood and understand why, because nothing is given to you. You have to earn it. And it's kind of refreshing. I kid with you about this, being grateful to see, I think also being grateful to see someone like a Coach Prime instill in his kids about why you're here at this school. You're here to go to school and to graduate, because 85% of those kids aren't going to see an NFL football field, and he's aware of that. I think it's cool that we have there's a new breed of leadership coming up. I think we'll be pleasantly surprised. I know we kid about what's going on in the world and everybody being woke and this and that, and sensitive. But essentially, man, I'm grateful that I'm here. I just found something else out about my dad came from a family of 9. I got a text today that my one uncle, I really do need to call him. He's at the end of his rope. due to cancer. So,
Sorry to hear that, my friend.
no, it's all part of the life cycle. But I guess the big thing for me, Tom, is not to leave a stone or rock unturned and just approach everything with, full bore, because you don't know if you're going to be there the next day. And that's what I'm trying to do here in my journey. And it's not about he who has all the dollar bills in the world. I know some will argue with me, but you can't put a price tag on health. And
No, you can't. Wealth is your health. So
yeah, no, absolutely. It allows you to pursue that and
yeah.
you know, and develop in your brain, and starting to think for yourself. And I'm grateful I've got to know you, and what you've shared with, because you're a big Bob Proctor guy. And by the way, Brian Proctor, if you're out there, I haven't finished your book, but I'm still reading it, man. It's a great book. Uh, you know, and yeah, your father did have the secret, didn't he? Um, kind of envious that he had an opportunity to be right there with his dad, a mentor, a friend. Kind of neat. But next best thing. There's a lot of information about Bob Proctor, YouTube, all sorts of things you can watch. He's very enjoyable to listen to. I get a big kick out of him. He's direct to the point, but he's always teaching, and he wants you to understand. And I think by, what am I, 67? It took me this long for my brains, Dad. If you're down there looking from up above, he often used to said that man sits on his brains, and as he matures, they slowly matriculate up the back, the spine, the back of the neck, and then it finally gets lodged in there where it's supposed to be. And the light bulb goes off and said, "Oh, now I know what I'm supposed to do."
Yeah.
That's the sign of maturity, as they say, I guess.
That's wisdom. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what am I grateful for to do today? This is the best day of my life. That's how I approach every day, is that I'm grateful that I have another opportunity to be above ground, to see who I can serve and help out in life. It's not always about ourselves. And like you said, it's not always about the money. It's what we do to make this planet a better place. And it starts with one person at a time. So I'm so grateful for this very moment, because without this moment, I don't have a future. So what we talk about today is going to build
Sure.
out for the future, having a positive mindset. When you go to gratitude, there's no space for negativity. Just notice what you feel when you have a heart of gratitude and you say, I'm so grateful for my wife, my child, my health. Notice the feeling, because we are all seeking happiness and joy. Gratitude is that pathway. So no matter what the circumstances, difficulties, challenges, life is nothing but a series of circumstances and challenges that we have to work through. From getting up in the morning, getting the car started in the middle of winter, and those type of things. We all have challenges. It's just how we look at it. So our attitude about gratitude is so critical. I love what Glenn Bill teaches in and around the ABCs of attitude and gratitude. I believe it's one of the biggest foundations of our success in life, not just in business, is gratitude. So again, I'm grateful to have you as a friend here, part of this platform. I'm grateful for those that carved the pathway through Ken Walls on the Grow Live Academy. I always like to give kudos to Ken. It's this platform has allowed me to make relationships and friendships and opportunities develop because of this live streaming platform. And that's one of the things I want to encourage people that are in business, no matter what your business is, create your brand through live streaming video. Be free to reach out to myself or Mark, and we can guide you and point you in the direction to learn how to do this appropriately. But the best vehicle to do it with is the Be Connected platform. It's a 5-in-1 platform. I won't get into all the details, but I encourage you to take a good hard look at it. We offer in our free version more than what most companies offer in their paid version. So we encourage you to take a look at this platform for video conferencing, live streaming, and working with a community of like-minded people. That's going to lead to one of our second topics tonight. So tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about our vision. We'll be talking about, I'll talk to you a little bit about my story, the Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I've been a disciple of this teaching since 1983, and been fortunate enough to be plugged into Bob Proctor, who learned what he teaches out of this book and created a process. And then the next thing we'll be talking about tonight, a little bit the power of the mind and the mastermind. I think it's critical to understand where that plays in all aspects of your life, not just business, your personal life, your faith life, is having a mastermind group. And I'll cover some principles with you that's changed things and who I lean into for having a different level of success in all areas of my life is the mastermind. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Anything else, Mark? We'll do our little intro and then we'll come back and we'll start our dialogue here. It's just going to be conversation tonight, nothing formal or anything like that. So
yeah, no, go for it.
Here we go, bud.
We've got
right back.
Huh?
Elevate your profit. You can just play that loop over and over again. So
I'm telling you, man.
yeah,
It's kind of nice.
what I love about this platform with Be Connected is once you can set all this up with one click button. You don't have to share screens or go to YouTube channels and push out videos. You just load them up right into the features here and one click and you're ready to go. So it makes it very simple, easy to use. So that's Elevate Your Profit. We started this platform, everything from the mindset to the bank and everything, what it takes to succeed, not only in business, because if you're succeeding in business, you're probably succeeding in life if you apply the principles properly. So to win in life, you got to have the same mindset you have to succeed in business, is my opinion. No different. Your life is a business, and how you conduct and how you manage it is going to be critical to the outcome that you seek. We all are seeking an outcome in life. We call our goals, our dreams, and our visions. I call them visions because once I understand the thinking process I learned from Bob Proctor and other great mind formers, is goals don't work by themselves. You got to have something bigger than the goal. A goal is nothing more than a process to get the outcome that you seek. So I believe vision is the most powerful way to look at it, is you see the outcome before you obtain it. You're emotionally attached with that outcome. You start behaving as if you have it now. It takes fear out of the equation. And I believe if anybody's out there wants to get really strong into vision, the power of vision, go to YouTube and look up Dr. Miles Monroe, The Power of Vision. Watch that video. It'll give a good, clear indication of what vision is and the power, because it organizes your life. It makes life easeful, not easy. I've said that many times, right, Mark?
Absolutely.
It helps you determine. We get a lot of things thrown at us during the day, silvery objects, ideas, circumstances. But when we have a clear vision, we have a much clearer idea of how to handle whatever comes in front of us. Is it going to support my vision or take away from it? If it takes away from it, you don't entertain it. It just moves everything out of the way. It determines what books you read. It determines what movies you watch. It determines what you do during the day. It determines who your friends are. It determines everything when you have a clear vision. And if those things don't align with your vision, you don't entertain it. And people say, well, gee, that's, discounting a lot of people. No, it's not. Your vision is the most powerful thing that you have for yourself, your family, and your legacy. So I was introduced to Think and Grow Rich in 1983. I went from corporate world contract negotiations, union shop steward with the Teamsters, contract negotiator, into business for myself. I didn't like the collaborative corruption I saw on both sides of that fence. I saw it from the backside, and there was no place I wanted to hold my life, the rest of my life, doing that. It was against my integrity. It was against things I believed in, and it's amazing what power does for people, and that we're all seeking power one way or another. But it's just how we keep in perspective what power really is. So I left that and I went into financial services industry. I went into A.L. Williams, Art Williams, buy term and invest the difference. He was a disruptor in the insurance and investment industry, started educating millions of people of what it takes to win with money, that the life insurance industry has products and services that aren't conducive to financial security. But when you understand some real basics, it's really easy to get the right products for yourself and your family. So I had a crusade and I had a purpose. I didn't realize that was part of my vision, is to be able to help and support people win financially. I've had different types of success in everything I've done in life. And people say, you've done pretty well. Why are you still doing what you're doing? Well, so I can learn more, so I can teach more. My journey's not over with. I want to create a legacy for myself and my family. So I'm always open to look at opportunities. I'm not a get rich quick guy. I'm not painting big pictures in the skies about how to get rich overnight, or, I believe in incremental steps, and I believe in passive residual income. We've had this conversation many times. I'd rather have an income stream that's equivalent to have $1 million in the bank. I'd rather have the income stream coming to me every month. And that's more valuable than having $1 million in the bank, in my opinion, if you do it right. So I was introduced to this Think and Grow Rich. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Richard Thawley was a national director of sales for A.L. Williams. I was I worked up the ranks to a vice president. Basically what that was, I had earned the right to have an agency agreement with A.L. Williams. I owned my own business. Had my agency license for insurance and securities, mortgages, all in one. So I'd earned the right to have that business by working up the ranks. But we studied this book every Thursday, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And after a few months of that, every Thursday, we would go through the different chapters and we'd have our notes, and we'd have to talk about what we wrote down and why we did what we're doing and all that. And we would all rebel. Come on, Richard, we've done this before. Didn't realize how important repetition was in instilling of the subconscious. In that process, about 3.5 years studying the book with Richard on a weekly basis, that's sort of that mastermind, getting to see how other people think, expanding your thinking, expanding your belief systems. Because we come into this world with limiting beliefs and we get around other people, that goes to the mastermind principle. We start magnifying the power of our mind with multiple people. So studying these principles, I don't take any credit. I used to take credit for it because I know I can outwork most people and I'm persistent. So I moved to the #1 district producer in the company, earned some rights to meet with Art Williams, and sat on his boat and had some good coaching from him. But Richard Thawley, I thank you, Richard. If you're out there, we get this message. I owe it a lot to you for your persistency and making sure we read and understood and applied the principles in this book. And then I sort of put it away, went off, did some other things, didn't study the book on a regular basis, didn't get introduced to it again until I linked up with Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor, he studied this book every day. And that's an amazing story in itself. Yeah. And I was coaching financial services through the Ramsey Solutions, Dave Ramsey, staying out of debt, how to save and have a zero-based budgeting, those type of things. But I kept seeing the behavior thing get in the way. So I started seeking out behavior thinking in and around finances. And that's when I ran across Bob Proctor. He's a prosperity coach. He helps people believe that they can do more in life than what we're thinking we can do, and reforming our subconscious thinking. So I owe a lot to Bob Proctor, really getting back into this book. And that was 2016. I found Bob Proctor. I didn't know who he was, didn't have any inkling whatsoever. And changed everything in my life as far as understanding the power of our thinking in the subconscious, changing your paradigms. So I encourage everybody out here, don't take this book lightly. Get the book, go to the Napoleon Hill Foundation, get the books there, learn from those. This book right here, these principles being taught, have produced more financially independent or millionaires than any other book probably ever written. This is not woo-woo. The principles work if you apply them. It's like anything else. You can't hit home runs until you learn a home run swing, right, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to practice. You're going to strike out a lot, but when you hit it, you know you hit it.
Absolutely.
So I was introduced to this book in 1983. It makes a big difference. Napoleon Hill talks about your burning desire. Tie that to your vision. What is that thing that ignites you, gets you excited to get up in the morning? Your purpose, your vision. What do you want to accomplish in your lifetime? What would they be saying at your funeral? What's your epitaph, right? Did I say that correct? Epitaph?
Yeah, epitaph. Yeah.
What's your legacy? Then, as Art Williams said to me, what's your crusade, Tom? What are you willing to die for? And making sure you're picking your battles appropriately to enhance other people's lives, enhance your life, being a service. That's one of the things he talked about. He was I love Art Williams being a football coach. He was down in your face mask. He was grabbing you by the face mask and to inspire you to be your best. And that's what I loved about Art Williams, besides the things he taught, his way that he taught. Being a football player, I resonated with Art Williams in a very significant way. Some people that doesn't work, but with me it was. So
yeah.
So that's having a burning desire. What's your crusade? What are you willing to die for? Number one, I'm going to die for my family. I'll die for my faith, and I'll die for my country. Those three things I know I will die. I will put myself at the top of the hill to protect it and defend those three entities. They're so important to me, not just personally, but how I look at the world through my perspective. Family, God, and country. What you got to say, Mark?
Here you go. Those are all good points, Tom. Excellent.
So that leads to the mastermind. You mentioned what got this on this. We talked this morning. Is you did a post with Ken Norton before he fought Muhammad Ali. Tell a little bit about that story, Mark.
That's an interesting story. Ken Norton was reading Think and Grow Rich, and he was getting ready to fight Muhammad Ali for the very first time. Nobody even knew who Ken Norton was. Some guy from, I kiddingly say this, the West Coast, left coast. I'm kidding. But, you know, he was just some obscure boxer, pretty good. You know, he fought in the Marine Corps. You know, he did well. And he was going to fight Ali. Now, Ali did not really train, if you do your research, real hard for this fight, not making excuses, but he knows himself. He didn't put in the preparation, and he had just come off from a loss from losing to Joe Frazier, more or less. So here we are now. This is the second loss that he encounters. But Ken Norton read the book, and you know, he has some favorite quotes that I listed on my post. But what's interesting about Ken Norton, you wouldn't think that a boxer would read. Now, my book's a little bit different from Tom's, but let's see if he can pick this out here. Yeah. Anyway, it's smaller. And you wouldn't think a boxer would even read something like that, you know, and he did. And in fact, he even took some courses within the Napoleon Hill system. There is a post, which I'm going to put in here. I'm going to show it after I get done running my mouth here as to Ken Norton, and he has the actual book. He's holding it, the Think and Grow Rich book. I think it's kind of cool. So it's a little YouTube clip of about 30 seconds. And, you know, later on in life, Ken Norton got in an automobile accident, and you talk about what he had to go through, his trials, not just boxing, but then he had to learn to walk, how to walk, learn how to talk all over again. So I don't know. And I'm a big boxing fan back in that era. That was the era of the heavyweights in the 70s. And there's some great boxers, but he read the book and he talked about how it helped him, you know. And I can only imagine if he was reading it, like, you know, mastermind, like what we're talking about here, the people you hang around with. I know people teased about Ali had an entourage and a circus, but each person that he had within his entourage, even though I'm talking about Ken Norton, they were there for a reason. You know, it wasn't like he felt sorry for people. He felt like if they could contribute to the attitude, and you talk about having an attitude to the nth degree, Ali was one of those guys. And I think that's what kind of spurred Ken to read this book, you know, because he realized what he was getting ready to do. And the rest is history. They fought 3 times, and Ali beat him twice. But the first one, he shocked everybody, and nobody knew who the guy was. So I think that's just neat that things like that actually do happen. And I just felt compelled to share that because here's a guy that, you know, he applied those principles.
Yeah, and if you got into any of his conversations about the book, he would talk about having that belief that he was the best, that he could beat Ali. He had a clear vision of what that would look like. And so whether you're an athlete or whether you're in business or no matter what you're doing, this book will help you get a clear picture of what the outcome you seek and how to get there. Make it a staple, not just a book that you have in your bookshelf and pick it up and read it from time to time. Apply the principles. Like in boxing, you have to do the unpleasant things, you know, hitting the bag and drills and jumping rope and all those things necessary to hone your skills. No different whether you're an athlete or if you're in business. The principles are exactly the same to win, how to win.
Yep.
So what do you want to talk about masterminds?
Well, you're the master of it. No, the importance of who you hang around with and why. You know, a lot of people take that for granted, and not that you can't always pick family members, right? But you can pick and choose your friends, and I just think it's important to hang around people that are like-minded. They don't have to be in your profession. And sometimes we take that for granted, how that can impact us in a positive or negative way. And you can share on that, you know, because I know you've been involved with different masterminds in your quest for greatness, so to speak, out there in the business world. And I have, and they do make a difference. Definitely do. But could you share on that, Tom, why that's important? Like what you did at A.L. Williams, I think that's incredible that you guys like sat down, and not many companies would do that.
No, they recognize that winning in the mind is how you win on paper. You know, win in business is you got to win this game first, the belief system, get clarity what you seek and how to get there, what you're thinking about, what's your belief systems. Because unfortunately we live in a culture that people says you can't do certain things, you're not smart enough, whatever the case may be. We get filled with things early on in our lives that becomes our reality. We perform at that level. How do you break those shackles, I call it, is studying and listening to other people, what challenges they go through, how do they do it. You know, a lot of people think people that are having great success, they have no clue of the pain and suffering they went through to get there, the challenges. I've had mine. I've had some very big successes in my business careers, and I've also had some devastating losses and failures. I don't like using the word failures, disappointments. Didn't hit the goals or expectation I was shooting for. And that does hurt. It does take something out of your energy, your belief system. So, but if you stay on the focus and fundamentals, like in sports, stay to fundamentals, you could always recover and get back into the winning cycle. You don't have to have special plays drawn up just to win all the time. It's always the fundamentals of blocking and tackling. Is so critical. Me being an athlete, I always go back to those days, how I had coaches that stuck on the fundamentals. We worked on fundamentals before we did any play running, making sure that our blocking techniques were correct, or our tackling techniques were correct before we even ran plays. So, and then if we didn't perform in a game or didn't perform the way we were supposed to, we always went back to fundamental drills. We hated them because they're painful, boring, whatever the case may be. We've done this before, but you just build on that over and over again, and you become stronger, more disciplined. You know when you're in the groove. We talked about that a little bit this morning, is that vision, having a clear picture. In athletes, you mentioned something about people that actually shoot the physical free throws versus those that are visualizing.
Right.
You want to expand on what you shared with me this morning?
Well, what they've done is it's actually been proven that people that have visualized at the free throw line, improvement on hitting, going 10 for 10 at the free throw line or whatever, just to improve, as opposed to somebody physically going out there and doing it, they've done just as well, if not better, and that's amazing when you think about it. And it was just visualizing. Just we go back to hitting a baseball, seeing the ball, slowing it down to the point. But getting back to that, it was in basketball, and they took some collegiate and NBA players, and they've run tests, and they had two different groups, and you really couldn't tell the difference. That's what I think is amazing. And these guys weren't out there every day practicing,
Yeah.
They were doing it up here. And, there's something to be said for that. And I know we kid about it. Everybody wants to be successful, but that is, the older I get, it just comes to fruition that how tough are you mentally? Because you mentioned some things, you had some setbacks. We all do in life. I shared some of my scars with you today, which I'm not going to do here tonight. But, it's how you handle things. And I think people struggle with that, Tom, and they're looking for quick fixes. And I hate to tell you this, there are none. I don't care what group you get involved with. If you're not going to take action, nothing's going to happen. And if you're not a millionaire yet, it's not the end of the world. If you're trying to better yourself, spiritually, financially, physically, emotionally, I'm all for it, man. Kudos. I don't make fun of people that, I see people that meditate, and that's cool. They go off in a corner and do their thing and get their mind right. That's great. I'm not going to make fun of that. So, and that's goes back to why we have the platform we have, because we've had some people on here with that. It was health related, what you can do. And I think, for me, every time I look at somebody, so that's what caught my eye, going back to that Ken Norton thing. I said, there's the word mindset. Mindset matters, And the guy was mentally, he was as tough as nails. I mean, he gave all he fits.
Yeah. But he had that fight visually embedded. He knew when he threw a jab, he visualized what it would look like and how he'd parry it.
Well, he studied tendency. Exactly. He studied tendencies, and him and his trainer noticed a couple things when he was getting ready to throw a right hand lead. He'd kind of flinch, and that's when they would beat him to the punch. Yeah, that takes a lot of study. I mean, because nothing personal, but Ali, even as he got older, his hands were still fast. So you got to be thinking really quick,
Yeah,
to
visualization is so important. That's part of that vision visualization, seeing the outcome before you obtain it. your behavior and disciplines start aligning to accomplish that objective. And so it's important. So accomplishing your goals, many times people are relying on their own mindset. And that's powerful. You got to understand our thinking and how that works and controls the outcome. You can take a look at results in any area of your life. It'll dictate exactly what your subconscious thinking was that got you there. It will always work. You can always analyze it, re-engineer it, and then change your thinking. So when you learn how the mind works, magnifying your mind, the energy your mind has is absolutely amazing. But when you get together with like-minded people, you're magnifying the mind. Now you're drawing on Mark Gassert's energy and wisdom and knowledge and incorporating that. So building masterminds, it's not just an accountability group. That's a lot of people think, yeah, I got a mastermind. I'm going to go out and do, you're my boss today, Mark. That's not what a mastermind is. Outlining what you said you're going to do. Yeah, we hold people accountable in masterminds, but you got a mastermind for your business. You got a mastermind for relationship. You should have a mastermind in your faith community. All those things so that you can pull the power of other people thinking into one place and you magnify and get better results because of that. So finding the right person, keep in mind, look out there and see the people that are living a lifestyle, the way they live, the way they walk and talk, everything about them, and say, is that something I want to try to model myself after, whether the whole package or part of the package. And guess what? Seek them out and ask for their help. That's one thing, Bob Proctor. How do you find somebody in your mastermind? You got to get a clear picture of what you want out of life, and then find people that are doing it and then bring them into your fold. And what ends up happening, you start seeing a different way of thinking. Because our perspective is limited. When we bring a second or third person in, now we're starting to see all different ways to look at the same situation with different ways to approach it. And that's where the growth comes. You expand your mind, the creativity kicks in. It's amazing what happens when you get the right people in a group talking about helping you or helping each other. So it's a challenge. You can't be afraid to ask. Those that have a giving heart and want to share, they'll be willing to help you. But it's a two-way street. You got to help them as well. It's not just a one-way street in a mastermind. And that's a challenge. I've been in a mastermind since 2016. A gentleman had a business in Indianapolis. He's retired from that business. He lost his business when COVID hit. And then another gal is a real estate broker in Louisiana. We've been meeting every Sunday morning since 2016, mastermind, off the principles that Bob Proctor taught in Napoleon Hill. And I'm just going to cover a few things, Mark, what a mastermind might be. And I'll just say this, Napoleon Hill said this: remember, it takes no more effort to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity, than it is required to accept misery and poverty. It takes as much energy for a kid to fail a class in school as it does to pass the class or get an A. People don't realize it takes a lot of effort to fail too. So, and that's a decision. So it takes work on both ends here. So Napoleon Hill. One of the things about it, attaining your vision, never think linear about the future. We always think there's a straight line to someplace. No, there's going to be ups and downs. Think in terms of leaps. We've been conditioned one step at a time, but if we learn that we're capable of doing more quicker, and a mastermind helps you do that, eliminates the little steps, eliminates those things that would make stumbling blocks that you would create for yourself. They remove those, get you to take the leaps. Is so important. Think leaps. Always expect the unexpected. Being aware of what could go wrong. I think that's what the thing about great leaders in business or any aspect of walking life. They anticipate what could go wrong, and they have a game plan in place to deal with what if we have a recession? What if the church burns down? What if, right? They always have a game plan, in advance. You should be doing the same. And guess what? A mastermind will bring that clearly to you. But I'm going to share something that when you create one, and I encourage you to get Think Grow Rich and study the mastermind principles and understand what you have to not only believe in the mastermind, but you got to believe in the people in the mastermind so they believe in you as well. So it's like molding clay, the best way I can say it. Here are the mastermind principles. This is what we do before we start any of our masterminds. We each have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 principles that we read out loud. And when I first heard this concept, that this is hokey pokey, why should we do it? But the more you do it, it resonates, it imprints on your subconscious, it improves your hearing and listening skills, your creative mind kicks in. And here are the mastermind principles. Begin every mastermind meeting by reading these mastermind principles. The first one is I release. I release myself to the mastermind because I am strong when I have others to help me. It's a mindset. Okay. I believe in the combined intelligence of the mastermind creates a wisdom for beyond my own. I understand that I will more easily create positive results in my life when I'm open to looking at myself, my problems and opportunities from another point of view. I decide to release my desire totally in trust to the mastermind, and I'm open to accepting new possibilities. I forgive myself for mistakes I have made. I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past, so I can move into the future with a clean slate. Next principle, I ask the mastermind to hear what I really want, my goals, my dreams, my desires, and I hear my mastermind partner supporting me in my fulfillment. I accept. I know, relax, and accept, believing that the working power of the mastermind will respond to my every need. I am grateful knowing this is so. Then closing, we'd all take turns reading this one after the other every week that we'd meet. Dedication and covenant. I know I have a covenant in which it is agreed that the mastermind shall supply me with the abundance of all things necessary to live a successful, filled, and happy life. I dedicate myself to the maximum service to the world and my fellow human beings to live in a manner that will set the highest examples for others to follow and to remain an open channel of God's will. I go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. These principles Bob has laid out and Napoleon Hill laid out, if you do those with the right people, it's amazing what that does. In the beginning, you go, that's kind of common sense, but every time you do it, you're creating a different form of energy. Our thinking is energy. The results we get are the direct relationship to the energy we release to the universe. So these are powerful principles. And those people that do this type of work in their mastermind get different types of results. So the best thing to do is get somebody that studied Napoleon Hill and understands Bob Proctor, Think and Grow Rich. Thinking the results with Bob Proctor, some of the principles there. If you get somebody that's been through those programs, you're going to be that much further off. So study the materials, go out and find like-minded people, create a mastermind, not only for yourself and your business, but what about your relationships, your family, your faith community? We all have challenges in those areas. And if we can get people that would like thinking in there, we grow and expand. We magnify the potential of our thinking. I think that's the key element that Napoleon Hill was talking about and Bob Proctor. So
that was awesome.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, masterminds are great, but it's not an accountability group. It's not a place to hang out and shoot the BS. It has a very clear purpose, and you need to learn to ask what you need. What can you help me? Can you see what I don't see? I think it's the most important thing.
Right.
And
since we're talking mastermind, this is one-to-one. in the chats, I put something up here, but I notice I can't hover over it and show it underneath here. Do you know why that is?
There you go.
You're able to do it. I can't.
I must have your privilege. I suspended your privileges, Mark. There you
Oh,
go.
that's cool. I've been put in the little boys' room. I'm in the corner. Which one is that?
josephspeople.org.
Oh, that's the state of mind. Yes, 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 yes. Um, I've actually got something here. Remember I told you about state of mind? That's written by Walter Wintle. He's a poet from the early 1900s. Very, very excellent poet. I'm getting into looking at older books because there's so much knowledge and wisdom in it. But I don't know if you've ever heard this. I'll just read this real quick, Tom, but it says, if you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out in the world, you'll find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. So excuse me that I use the word man, he, for all you political correct identifier, pronoun, but this was written in the early 1900s. You can check it out. That is the link to that. Which is awesome. I would advise you to, and it'll take you right there to the document itself. That might be Ken Norton, if I'm not mistaken, with the Think and Grow Rich. Yeah.
Let me stop this. Let me share the screen. We'll play it. Okay, Mark?
Sure. Oh, this is actually what I read. That's okay. Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff.
If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out in this world we find success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man. But sooner or later, the person who wins is the one who thinks he can.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's real cool. And I'm going to share this down here. This is the one I'm putting down here now, the very last one. That's a YouTube. It's Ken Norton here. It's the last one. I don't know if you see it right here. I've got my cursor over it. If you want to play that, that's Ken Norton himself, and he's holding up Think and Grow Rich, which I thought was he actually did read it. I think it's the last one here. Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Ken Norton, Think and Grow Rich changed his life. Ken?
always into my life. I'm not happy. I was going to fight. I'm an outlet. I was a green fighter. And yet, I was all through reading this.
What you got to remember there is, like I told you, that was after he had his car accident and he had to really relearn. And you know what's neat about that? And when you read the history of this, these guys fought 3 times. Ali went and visited him in the hospital. So that's the kind of neat thing about, I know these guys, they call them gladiators, and they go out there and try and, kill one another, not literally, but, they're out there banging away. It's no different in a football game or whatever. But I thought that was neat. And so that's what Ken Norton's all about today. I thought that was neat. He had the book and
Another testimony. The more you start studying this, you start finding out more and more people that have become disciples or students of this book.
right.
And I know what it's done for me with Bob Proctor and how he's taken the principles here and putting in a very easy format under thinking into results platform that he teaches and coaches. That's what I've been certified on. So we run, everything's in a process to make changes in business or in life. It takes a process to get to the end result that you see.
Right.
You got to have things in place. And
And what Tom is everybody I've hung around with or that is successful, or I mean it could go like when we first started streaming, and I'll just say it. I mean, I like you as a person and I like me as a person, but I think we really sucked when we first started streaming. Not that we're bad people, but I mean, but that's how you learn, and just like you said, try and create a mastermind or start a mastermind. You ever think, I've often thought, like, have companies ever thought about what that would do? I know there's been a lot of disconnect because of, the big C thing out there that happened, and everybody was home in their silos, and some people still don't want to go back to work or whatever, but that'd be kind of a neat thing. And not just in business and in other areas of our life, that'd be kind of cool.
I was just looking at, we got somebody's posting up here on
I know.
Facebook.
It says my audio interface swipe continues to suffer from people making up their own words, spellings. Someone from Facebook. Identify yourself from someone from Facebook. I don't know what that means, and I'm gonna. Yeah.
Mr. Brooker.
Is it?
No, Mr. Brooker.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where, and just the fact that he took the time to do that, and there's other people out there that have read this book. It's really wild when you start talking. Hey, do you ever read this book, Think and Grow Rich? Because you said 83 for you, right? Mine was back in 84. And Tom, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but this is the book. I paid a whopping $2.95 for it. There it is, man. That's it.
You got to do what Bob Proctor is, read it every day until it starts falling
I know.
apart.
Well, it kind of is, because it's a paperback, and I've had to.
Like I shared with Brian Proctor,
Sure.
This book is the teachings of how Bob interpreted the teachings of Napoleon Hill in this book right here.
That's cool.
And my book is pretty well tattered. It's been used quite a bit. It's got footnotes, it's got highlighting and whatever. So before my passing day, it'll probably have to have a rubber band or something to hold it together as well. So,
right. Yeah, it's kind of wild how all that works out. But I think it's neat. And,
Yeah, so I think our closing message here today would be is have a vision and a purpose and a desire. This Napoleon Hill talks about your burning desire. That's tied with your vision, your purpose, and why. You can't take it away from you. You'll fight for it. You'll do whatever it takes to get through it, whether it be fear, whether it be economic challenges, whether it be skill challenges, or whatever. If your vision is clear enough and strong enough and your purpose strong enough, you'll find a way. Always keep this in mind. If you're asking that question, how do I? You're going to get the answers that will show you how you can't do it. Never ask how. How am I going to get there? Never ask the how question. Just take a step forward, jump into the pool, and all the answers will come to you. And then having a mastermind to help pull. What's that saying? Your net worth is the average of the 5 highest people you hang around with.
Right. You've often heard, like, the books you read, the people you hang around with, the events you go to. That's very important, and it needs to be guarded. I used to not really think about it, but it's so true. And like I kiddingly say, you can't always pick family members. You're stuck with them, man. I mean, that's just, you got to roll with it. But you can pick and choose friends, and that's the kind of the neat thing about what you and I do here. And I am far from scratching the scratch of the surface here. I mean, people like Ken Walls are out there, I will say the word, they're errantizing it every day, day in and day out, knocking it out of the park. And that kind of keeps me going. I just think it's neat. And other people have other platforms, programs, shows, they train online. So it can be done. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Don't ask how, and more importantly, why, get that why cranking, and just take, like you said, just do it. Just take action. Stop. Don't put your big toe in the water. And like I told you, I shared some things with you that I've gone through, but you learn from it, man. And that's the beauty of, you screw up, but you learn from it, and you don't do it again.
Right.
And to get all hung up over money, I'm not saying that I don't think about it, but I think it's kind of ridiculous, particularly today with what's out there, what you can do. That's just my personal opinion. But
yeah, it's like anything else in life. You got to know what you want, the desire that you have for it, what it looks like before you obtain it. Right. I think that's what I like about Glenn Morshower. He says, when you have a goal, you're telling your subconscious you haven't obtained it yet, and you'll do all the things to support not obtaining it.
Sure.
Goals don't work. The goals are the processes you take.
Right.
If you want to become a real estate broker and you don't have a real estate license, first thing you got to do is a goal or a step is get a license, and then what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step to obtain the vision? Because you got to get those things out of the way to be able to be a real estate broker. So you take a look at the end result and you re-engineer it backwards, and then goals are just nothing more than stepping stones to get to the end vision, whatever it is. But goals by themselves don't work. You got to have something stronger behind it, your purpose and why, and what are you willing to die for? Is it in alignment with your core values and beliefs? And are you willing to put yourself on the line to make that happen for yourself, your family, for faith, your business, wherever the case may be? And don't worry about what other people think.
Can you say that one again?
Don't worry about what other people think.
Yeah, that's a tough one for a lot of people too. They worry, gee, what are my friends going to think? Or, until someone.
I'll just share with you. I guarantee your friends aren't thinking about you.
Yeah.
They're thinking about themselves.
Right. Or gee, I wonder what that customer thought about my call, or I wonder what they're thinking about what we offer. I mean, up to a point, yes. And then after that, they ain't thinking about you, man. I mean, it's all up here in your head. You're beating yourself up,
Yeah.
And that's what you were talking about, having that mindset, So yeah, I do not want to get a task. Oh, real estate license? Absolutely not. In my case, I prefer to become, oh my goodness, is this really Robert? I don't know. Or relentless, I think is what he's saying. Yeah, anyway, that's all I have to share this evening.
Wonderful. So, are you going to be watching any of the games this week?
Oh, absolutely. You know I will. I just hope and pray for all my Pennsylvania friends out there. Yeah, I know I got told to go back to my roots. Well, I do, but it's just that, there's a team called Atlanta and I like the Braves and I've lived here since 84. So obviously I'm going to root for them. But, I hope we don't have to play them, Tom. That's what I'm nervous about. I don't want to have to play Philadelphia again because you never know where it can take you.
Say that again.
I said you never know where it can take you if we have to play Philadelphia again here in Atlanta, even though they have home field. There's just certain teams you don't want to play, and they're one because if they get hot, they're scary because they've got great hitters. They got a young club, so yeah. And that's it. That's all I have, Tom, to share tonight. But I appreciate you talking about mindset, Proctor.
I'm going to close out playing a commercial for Be Connected.
Oh my, really?
Yeah.
I'm teasing you.
And
Yeah.
Ben Day says you guys don't do enough promoting of what you guys do. So here you go, Ben.
So, and with that, if it's Be Connected, reach out to Tom Ginn, reach out to Mark Gassert. If you want to talk wellness, you can reach out to that as well. That's cool. There are other things we do. So, yeah, to compete to serve better than anyone else. Okay, cool. That's what he's working on. Thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Robert. Can you see this, Mark?
That's beautiful. Play it.
The landscape is fragmented, where giants like Zoom, YouTube, and LinkedIn hold all the power. It's a battle to get noticed, grow your following, and make meaningful connections. But what if there was a better way? Introducing Be Connected, a revolutionary platform that's changing the game for entrepreneurs, content creators, and business professionals alike. Today's digital landscape is fragmented, complex, and frustrating. Algorithms suppress your views. Policies are ever changing, including censoring and demonetizing your content. Data limits leave you hanging, and it's almost impossible to grow your following organically. This makes it incredibly difficult to sell your programs or monetize your content. Be Connected believes that influencers, creators, and entrepreneurs deserve to work with best-in-class products that provide robust value. That there should be a single platform that combines all the tools needed to grow organically, and that there should be a platform where you don't worry about censored content or algorithm suppression. That's why Be Connected responded by building the first of its kind platform to video conference with more storage and features than Zoom, an AI-powered connection generator to grow your following or find new customers, and group creation platform where 100% of the followers see 100% of your content without any suppression. Be Connected empowers you to take control of your digital business. So whether you're an entrepreneur, a content creator, or a business professional, Be Connected is here to help you rise above the noise and make your mark. Be seen, be found, be connected.
That's
That's
nice.
Be Connected in a nutshell. Well, Mark, do we have a guest next week? I think we do.
I think we do.
No, we don't.
Somebody that's we will. I think we have somebody yet still in Vietnam that we're gonna get here.
Well, next Monday, I'm not available, my friend.
You know what? Neither. The fact of the matter is, and Gina would kill. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Wichita Falls, not Kansas, Wichita Falls, Texas, at Midwestern State University, checking out my son as a graduate assistant. He's coaching, so yeah.
Congratulations, that'll be fun.
Yeah. He's
Proud
working.
Papa.
Well, yeah, but he's working harder than what he ever has worked as a player. I mean, we talked last night. It's just kind of funny. This weekend was a bye, so we got a chance to talk with him. But it all starts up on Sunday. You know, they're prepping for the next game. It's great you won, and now you prep for the next opponent. And they won last week's game with a 2 weeks ago rather, since they didn't play the Saturday. Was it 56-yard field goal? So that's pretty awesome, I think.
Cool. Yeah, that's a long way. That's a big kick.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we don't. Next Monday, I'm out of town with the wife. It's our 36th year together, so we're going away for a few days. A friend of her client, one of her clients, has a house on a lake up in Devil's Lake, and that's where we're going to spend 4 days. And
you know, Tom, you have the nicest wife. Miss Kathy is the cool of coolest. And I saw a post, and it made me think of Kathy, because it said, and please, those that are of our age, don't become sensitive about this, all you young ladies that were living in the 70s, but it talked about what women were like back then. And it had a picture of this attractive lady in a like go-go boots, a mini skirt, you know, it really looked cool though, put together well. And I just started laughing. I said, yeah, man, that was it. That was it back in the day. And then it talked about how you learn from other people. And it said, yeah, the generation of today, yeah, grandma really is cool. And yes, she does know. She's been out there. She's made a lot of things happen. And you know, they were talking about from a business perspective and other things. I thought that was cool. You know, when they shared that. I wish I could find that. It was, I think it was on Facebook, but it was neat. It just kind of made me think. I started laughing, you know.
yeah, should definitely take and listen to those that are older than us, because they have wisdom. They've been down many paths that we would never even know about until we experience their wisdom. So, and like your dad.
That is so true. I just stay real quiet when I'm around people older than myself. I just kind of listen. I enjoy it. And then you ask questions. Did you ever struggle? Did you ever? And man, the stuff you hear these people tell you, like if they were in business, I mean, they were on their last leg. You know, they hawked their house and other things to keep their business going. It's incredible the stories you hear. It's just mind blowing, you know, that people today wouldn't even, what? You did what? Oh yeah, I missed the mortgage.
Someday we should have that conversation. Some of the things I experienced or went through in my early day of my businesses.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. No, and I kidding. That's why I have the utmost respect. Or yeah, I missed a couple mortgage payments. Or yeah, the bank was banging on my door. No.
What happened to my car? You know, is towed off.
There you go. Yeah, I have seen that. That's wild when they tow them. It's just like man, that's the car that dude drove in. Whoa, okay. You know, you kind of put two and two together.
Yeah.
So the guy said, "Oh well, I'll get something else." It was a gas guzzler anyway. The heck with it, you know. Because they had so many different things to worry about, Tom. I guess that's what's so funny about all this.
Yeah.
You got to laugh.
Yeah. So we don't have another guest until October 16th. Brian Wagstaff, excuse me, Wagstaff, not Flagstaff, Wagstaff. He's the person that bought the public speaking bureau from Tanya Hoffman, our CEO of
Yes.
Be Connected. So he's going to come on and talk about his story, his journey in business, and how he's using this platform that we're talking on to grow his public speaking association. So get to hear it from somebody that's been down the road, has had huge amounts of success and also some challenges as well, like any good business person.
Right.
That's on the 16th.
So the 9th we're open then. So I'm hoping that Good Morning Vietnam will return and get him back on here, and I won't tell you who that is, but I'm sure he'll have quite the story or stories to share with us, you know.
So enjoy your eating and your vaping there, whoever's put that comment up. So
Yeah, I was sitting at the outside, I think that's right, area, vaping up a storm while watching. Oh, God. Oh, my. Oh, my. Okay. Yeah. That's what I figured. Yeah, we got you.
all right, Robert, take care of yourself. Mark, have a great weekend.
Oh,
Go
thank you.
Braves, go Brewers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there you go. Braves, Brewers. See the connection?
Maybe we'll
Already?
flame for the pennant, right?
Yeah.
Could
Yeah,
happen.
man. Hey, wouldn't that be wild? Right? You know,
Yeah.
maybe they'll face one another. That'd be different.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Oh, my friend, I'm grateful to have you here as a
Well, thank
co-host and a friend and a partner on Elevate Your Profits. And we'll sign it out.
You got it, sir. Thanks, Tom. I
Have a
appreciate
good
it.
evening.